In this video, we're going to look at Excel patterns and recognizing patterns within Excel, and then copying those patterns throughout your spreadsheet. But once again, the focus is going to be on looking at patterns within Excel. We're going to begin by opening up this file here. It's called Chapter 1 Patterns Percentage of Total. I'm going to click on the link. The file will open up. We want to make sure we click on Enable Editing. Now, in looking at this file, and once again, it's called Chapter 1 Patterns Percentage of Total. We can see that there's one sheet. The name of the sheet is called Sheet 1, and it has information on it. In a later video, we're going to show you how to populate this sheet and use formulas to do that. But we're going to begin by just looking at this sheet. We're going to come down to the plus sign here, and we're going to left click it once. And what happens is we've created a new sheet. I'm going to come over to the plus sign and click it again. And now we have an additional new sheet. Now we don't have to keep the name as Sheet 2 or Sheet 3. We're going to rename those sheets. So I'm going to click on Sheet 2, quickly double left click it, and I'm going to rename that sheet my first name. Hit enter. So we have a sheet by the name of Kevin. Next, I'm going to come over to Sheet 3, and still another way of renaming our sheet is that I'm clicked on it, right click, rename. And I'm going to rename this sheet McKenna. Hit enter. So we have three sheets right now, Sheet 1, Kevin, and then McKenna. We can move those sheets around by hovering over the sheet, holding down the left mouse, and dragging it over to here and dropping it. So that now the order is Sheet 1, McKenna, and Kevin. I can move it back to where it was by pointing at it, holding down the left mouse, and dragging it and dropping it. So they're very easy to move around, and needless to say, very easy to create and rename. Now I'm going to click on that Kevin sheet. My cursor right now is in cell A1. Any type of a spreadsheet is always made up of columns that are all leaded. There's a little over 12,000 columns in an Excel spreadsheet. And then there's rows that are all numbered, approximately 1 million rows, up to 1 million. My cursor right now is in A1, right here. A1 it's like reading a map. It's the intersection of column A, row 1. A way of seeing where my cursor actually is by looking up here in the name box, where it's saying right now that we're in A1. I can move my cursor here, click on it. The easiest way of seeing where we're at is by coming up here. Right now I'm in D1. Click here. I'm in D6, which is the intersection of column D, row 6. Let's go back to A1. And within a cell, you can hold in numbers, you can put in pictures. Within a cell, you can also have text, you can have dates, you can have even little charts within a cell. But often, you're going to have within a cell numbers. But it's not limited just to numbers. So I'm going to show you that. So we're in cell A1, and we're going to start looking at this idea of patterns. I'm going to put in today's date, 3-12-20. So today's date, March 12th, 2020. So we've entered that. If I come over to this little box in the lower right-hand corner, little rectangle, if I get my cursor and hover over it, we have now a plus sign. If I hold down the left mouse and drag down, release the left mouse, all of a sudden Excel has taken a guess at the pattern that we're looking for. Now I'm going to redo that. Come up here to undo. So we're once again back at the date of 3/12/2020. I'm going to go over here to the little box. This little box is called the fill handle. It allows you to copy patterns. Our pattern right now is today's date. You hover over that little box, the fill handle, you have a plus sign, hold down the left mouse, and drag down. Release. And Excel has taken a guess that you wanted to create basically a mini calendar. It's guessed that you wanted to increment the days one at a time. Now I'm going to show you in a little while that we can really increment however we want to. We have a lot of flexibility here. So we have this series of dates. I'm going to go into cell B1 and I'm going to type in the day of the week. Thursday. Click in the cell, come to my fill handle, and we're going to copy that pattern down. We're going to hold down the left mouse and release. And Excel has taken a guess in terms of what the various days of the week are in the order. It's a guess, and usually it's fairly close. Now, in the old days, now a lot of people would ask, well, what's the value of that? It saves tremendous amount of time. In the old days, you would have to be typing in all this information. We're allowing Excel to do all the work for us. We're allowing Excel to take a guess at the pattern that we're looking at. Here's another example. In cell D1, I'm going to type in January. Come back up here to my cell in D1, go to my fill handle. I got my plus sign, hold down the left mouse, drag down, release. There was no need to be typing in January, February, March, April, May. Excel was able to guess what that pattern was that you were looking for. Let's go into cell F1. And we're going to type in today's date again. 3-12-20. Hit enter. And I want to increment that by 3 days. So I'm going to put in here in cell F2 the date of 3/15. 3-15-20. So the difference between F1 and F2 is 3 days. I mean, that's the pattern that we're looking for. How you enable Excel to copy that pattern is by coming over here. Now, once again, you don't want to come over here to the fill handle yet. We want to copy that pattern of incrementing incrementing our dates by 3. Come over here, hold down the left mouse so that both of these dates are highlighted. Come to our fill handle, we have our plus, drag down and release. And you can see that there's an increment of 3 days. Excel was able to guess that pattern. Next, let's go into cell H1. And I'm going to type in the number 1. Enter. Come up here. We have 1. Come to my fill handle. Hold down the left mouse and copy down. Now, right now, what Excel has done is it's copied that initial 1. It's copied that number down. And maybe that's what you wanted Excel to do. However, if you were looking at a different pattern, if you actually wanted Excel to increment 1, then 2, then 3, 4, 5, what you would do, you can see it's still highlighted. There's a little box here. It's called Autofill Options. Hit the down arrow and then click on Fill Series. And once again, what we've done is we've enabled Excel to create a pattern for us. Once again, it's a tremendous time saver. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to type in store, not in store, but rather cell J1. We're going to type in store, the word store. So that's our header. And we're going to create a small Excel spreadsheet that's going to calculate revenue. So we have the header store, and I want to have 10 stores directly underneath the header store. And the names of the stores are going to be Store 1, Store 2, Store 3, 4, all the way up to Store 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in Store 1, hit the check mark or enter. And the pattern that I'm looking for is to have Store 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 10. I'm going to allow Excel to do the work for me. I'm going to go to my fill handle. Once again, it's a little box, lower right-hand corner. We have our plus sign. Hold down the left mouse. And drag down. That's one too many. So once again, Excel has done all that work for us. Instead of having to type in Store 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 10, Excel has done that work for us. In K1, we're going to type in quantity. L1 price. M1 revenue. N1 percentage of total. Percent of total. It would help if I could type better, but so we have our headers. Store, that's already been filled out. Quantity, price, revenue, percentage of total. Let's come over here into cell J12, and we're going to type in total. Now jump back up here into cell K2. The quantity. We're going to make the quantity for all the stores 1. type in 1 here, enter. Go to the fill handle and copy that pattern all the way down. I'm going to leave it at 1 for the quantity for all of the stores. We're going to come over here to price, and we're going to type in $10. Now here's an easier way of doing it. Type in 10, come up here and tap the $sign, which is the accounting number format. Or another way of formatting dollars and cents is by clicking the down arrow and then choosing currency. So either way would be fine. I'm going to leave it right now at currency. And I got that by coming up here to the box, down arrow, and clicked on currency. I'm going to come to my fill handle and copy that pattern down. So everything is 10. We're going to come up to cell M2 and we're going to create our first Excel formula. Now, what we're trying to determine is the revenue taken in by each store. And revenue, in simplistic terms, is equal to quantity times price. So it's a quantity here of 1 multiplied by the price in this cell, 10. So 1 times 10, they're all going to be $10. All formulas always begin with an equal sign. Once again, all formulas in Excel always begin with an equal sign. So we're going to type in an equal. Using our mouse, we're going to tap in or click on cell K2. That's where our first one is. Multiplied by the little asterisks. And now we're going to use our mouse to click on L2. So revenue is equal to quantity times price. Our first quantity is in cell K2 multiplied by L2. Click on the check mark. That formula, that first formula is showing here, equal K2 times L2. But I'm going to show you another way of checking your formulas. And the easiest way of doing that, especially when you're at work, or really at any time, is by coming into this cell and quickly double left clicking. And by quickly double left clicking, we can graphically see what our formula is. We're double checking our work, making sure that that first formula is correct. Hit the escape key. And the reason why we want to make sure that first formula is correct is because we're going to copy that pattern all the way down. So this is correct. Come to my fill handle. Hold down the left mouse, drag down and copy that pattern all the way down. And what I usually do is I'll come down to the last formula and quickly double left click. And it shows me that I have copied the pattern correctly throughout the entire series. It's showing K11 times L11. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to come into this cell right here, M12, and I want to add all of my revenue together. I want to get a total for my revenue. So we want to sum or auto sum the revenue numbers for all 10 stores total, but it's for our revenue. I'm going to show you two ways of doing that. One way is to highlight the numbers that you want to sum. So we highlighted, we didn't copy them. Once again, we're over here, holding down our left mouse. Some students end up coming over here and copying. No, that's not what we want to do. We want to highlight them all first. Come up here, sum. We want to double check our function, and how you do that is by quickly double left clicking. And by double left clicking, it's showing us that our function is summing starting at M2. Colon means a range. So starting at M2 all the way to M11, all the amounts in those cells. We're summing all the amounts from M2 to M11. Let's hit escape. We can hit the delete button right here, just in this cell. I'm going to show you a second way of doing it. My cell is in M12, and what I can also do to auto sum all those revenues is by coming up here, sum. Excel takes a guess in terms of what you're trying to sum. We're trying to sum from M2 to M11. That is what we want to do. Check mark. So we have a function, we have a formula. Next, we're going to come into cell N2, and we're going to create another formula. We want to determine the percentage of the total for each of the stores. So in other words, 10 divided by 100. 10 divided by 100. 10 divided by 100. Now, before we even do that, we're going to make a little change here. A what if? What if the price in this cell L3 was 100, not 10? Automatically, the amount has been changed here, and the amount has been changed here. Once again, this is the value of formulas. You can change one number, and it changes your entire function, and it changes your original formula. You don't have to go in, basically, and start changing this formula here. Just change this number. So let's go back so that we can easily double check our computations. We're going to change that 100 back to 10. Once again, we'll come back and we'll change it again. So everything is, once again, quantity of one, $10 price, total of 100. Here's our formula. Equal sign. All formulas begin with an equal sign. Click on that first revenue, which happens to be in cell M2. Divided by the total. Once again, I'm using my mouse to click on M12. Check mark. Let's format that to percentage. Right now it's showing as a decimal. Come up here, click on percent. We'll change the number of decimal places to 2 decimal places by clicking right up here. And you can decrease the decimal places by clicking on this icon here. Let's check our math. Quickly double left click, 10 or M2 divided by M12. That seems to be that is the right pattern. Go to my fill handle and copy that pattern down. But all of a sudden, we're getting some type of an error message. Excel copied that pattern down, but there's an error somewhere. Here's how you would check for it, and I'm going to show you how we would avoid that message or that error message. Quickly double left click and see what's happening here. M3, that's correct, divided by M13. So Excel took a guess that it wanted us to divide by the quantity that's in M13. There's nothing there in M13. We really wanted to divide by this 100 here. Let's look at this one here. Quickly double left click. M4 divided by M14. There's no value in M14. M5 divided by M15. There's no value there. So basically, Excel's giving us an error message because we're trying to divide by 0. There's no amount in the denominator. What we needed to do is in all cases, we would take our value, in this case, M2 divided by M12. That's correct. The next one should be M3 divided by M12, but M12 needs to be locked in. I'm going to come over here and click on the paint bucket. This is our denominator. That denominator needs to be locked in. And here's how we do that. We're going to come up to the top for our first formula. We're going to correct that first formula so that we can copy the correct pattern down. It's very close to being correct. M2 should be divided by M12. M12 is your denominator. But M12 needs to be locked in. And how you lock it in is by clicking here and then tapping function key F4. Function key F4. It's not F and then 4. It's function key F4. And by tapping function key F4, what you see now is that we have now a $M, a $12. That means that that denominator has been locked in. It's an absolute in Excel talk. We've made that value in M12. We're telling Excel, don't guess at the pattern here. The pattern should be is that M12 is always locked in for this particular type of formula. Check mark. Come to our fill handle. Drag the pattern down. We're at our last formula. If we quickly double left click it, we're seeing now the formula has been changed. It's M11, which it should be, divided by $M, $12. So the F4 function key, F4, locks in a cell value. I'm going to undo what I just did to once again show you how we went about that. I came up to the top formula. It had been showing M2 divided by M12. That is correct, but I need to lock in M12. How I do that, I position my cursor here, F4, function key, F4. Lock it in, check mark. Go to my fill handle, and we're going to copy that pattern down. Release. Quickly double left click. And our formulas have been corrected. Thank you very much.